Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the New South Wales 16-foot Skiff and 13-foot Skiff state titles, coming to you live for heats 1 and 2 right here on Sydney Harbour in the Sound. It's another spectacular day on the water. There's a bit of haze about, which if you're looking at the feed there now, it's not us playing around, that's just the haze that's out here on the harbour. There's a good steady breeze and the perfect conditions for this world-class skiff racing. After plenty of build-up and anticipation, we're set for a fast and fiercely contested afternoon ahead. I'm Jimmy Bury, and whether you're joining us from the clubhouse, out on the harbour, or tuning in from around the world, it's fantastic to have you with us. Your passion and support continues to power the energy of the skiff community, and we're thrilled to bring you the live stream of the 2025 New South Wales Skiff State Titles hosted by Middle Harbour 16-foot Skiff Club. Joining me in commentary today, Andrew Dolly Devola and Jack Andrew. Gentlemen, great to have you alongside. What are you expecting from today's racing?
Yeah, g'day Jimmy, g'day viewers. It should be a great day. We've got a lovely breeze blowing at the moment, sort of around the sort of 15 knots coming out of the sort of north-northeast. And a big fleet, so things could get fruity.
Yeah, wow, big fleet. So we've got our lists in front of us, but forgive us if we can't name every sailor that we've got out here racing today. We've got a huge fleet of 16s, and I suspect probably the biggest fleet of 13-foot skiffs at a championship that we have ever seen. Where are we at, Jimmy?
33, I think, by memory.
33 13-foot skiffs, which is just fantastic. Belmont have now adopted the 13-foot skiff as well, and we've got boats from Belmont, Manly, Middle Harbour and St George in the 13 fleet. And I noted in the 16 fleet we've got 11 female skippers, female helms today, which to me, going back to my era, we didn't see any, or very rarely. I think Marilyn Simonson was the only one.
Yep.
So to have 11 female helms at a state championship, just fantastic, isn't it, Jack?
Oh, certainly. I think the best thing about it is that they're at the pointy end of the fleet, the majority of them as well. They're giving the guys a touch-up. So, I think it's sensational. The other thing with the 13s, we also got boats from Hornsby Coringai. So
we do.
As well.
And a 16 from Hornsby Coringai too.
Yeah, that's right. So... No, it's great. I think we've got 60 16s to go with the 33 13s. So running on a short course, we're going to be it's going to be quite congested with over 90 skiffs sailing around.
Yeah, so two short races today. We believe the 16s are likely to do 3 laps and the 13s are going to do 2 laps. And right now it looks like we're starting to get a little bit of a build in the breeze. The cloud was starting to break up a bit. As Jimmy mentioned, we've got this sort of sea haze through, which, as you can see on your screen there now, folks, it's like looking through a milky lens, but that's what we're seeing as well. The cloud was starting to break up, but it's just starting to close over again. So it'd be interesting to see what this breeze does, but right now we're probably looking in the low teens. Pretty open racetrack with not too many other boats out here to get in our way. So expect some really good action this afternoon, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight little race area. We're currently located just north of Middle Head, and I think the course trajectory is 010, which will have them sort of heading up towards Smedley's Point or Kilbourne Towers, the famous white building there on the point there. And yeah, as you guys said, very tight racing with that many boats in this confined area, but we'll do our best to get what we can to you as best we can. And it should be well and truly an interesting day for sailing, because it's right on the cusp of swapping from big rig to little rig, and once fatigue sets in, I think you'll be wishing you had the little rig.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a mix of little and big rigs out here. I've already heard from some of the boats when they were rigging that they've gone little or gone big, so that should make it interesting. But also with the 3 laps and 2 races, like you said, Jimmy, the fatigue will certainly come into play here, and I think the guys that have got their crew work dialed in will really be able to make a jump.
Yeah, fitness is key here, because it's like the hard part, as we know, is that waiting around between the 2 races for the backmarkers to finish, and then we're pretty lucky today. We've got Hugh Lester and Peter Tinworth, the driving force of the race officers over there. So they'll turn the racing around pretty quickly, I'd imagine. They're not one to stuff around and diddle around. They just like getting it away. And I think some notice came out earlier about the potential of, because of the size of the fleet, that we're going to be starting under a semi-naughty flag.
Yeah, the code flag U, uniform flag, will be in effect. So that's going to make it interesting for boats on the first start. For those that are unaware, the uniform flag, or code flag U, is basically like a black flag, except if it's a general, you get to go again. They won't worry about picking boats out. 1.2 nautical mile leg. So once again, going to be very congested, and that start's going to be critical to sort of get out of the pack and get up to that and get around that top mark first.
Yeah, first lap's going to be super tight. And you guys were just talking about, fitness and tiredness. We've just watched one of the 13s capsize. We've seen a number of 16s and 13s already have a swim, and nothing saps the energy out of you more than capsizing and getting your boat back up again and trying to get going. Just seeing 4X Gold on the screen there right now. One of our Belmont boats. Who have we got on there this weekend, Jay?
He'd be at the back of that. It'd be
Neil Jones.
Neil Jones, yeah.
Yep. He's got Luke Dunn and Murray Jones crewing for him today. Neil Jones, one of the real stalwarts of the fleet. He used to sail at Middle Harbour many years ago before moving up to the lake, and he's done many, many years in the 16s.
Certainly has, yeah.
They've got the little rig in, and you can see they just had a bit on there, so a couple of spikes in the breeze, but looks quite patchy at the moment. You can just see the SewTech building going past the start boat there.
They're due for a good result, I think.
Yeah, they've been a bit up and down, but when they're on fire, they're on fire. And one thing's for sure, they always have a good time, those boys.
They certainly
do.
They
always come in with a smile on their face. Mike Kerner on the helm. Oh, and just in front of us, that's the MCC 13-foot skiff. They've got a bit on there. Just swing round, you'll see them in a sec. There they are. They were coming down full noise there a second ago. They're just going to get that Spinnaker off.
So just looking around, it appears that some of the quicker boats in the fleet, the ones expected to sort of podium or get near the podium, have tended to go little rig. I'm just I'll see
looking that way, yeah.
Yeah, Bosca Build's got a little rig in. It looks like Buckingham Marine, Daniel Turner. It looks like a little rig from a distance, I think.
Yeah, I've just seen the red pumps have got the little rig in, which does surprise me a little bit. There they are.
Yep, so Red Pumps had a good win last Saturday at Manly.
It looks to me like Red Pumps might have their big rig on them.
No,
both little. Oh, she's closer to us. So
yeah.
Zoe Dransfield in.
She's got the right Spinnaker on those.
She does this week. Doesn't have the big rig with the small kite, but yeah, Zoe Dransfield on Red Pumps Red. You can see there with the red dot, and Tyler Dransfield with the black mainsail. Both those boats have been on fire in the lead up to the state championships, so it'll be interesting to see how they both fare today.
Yeah, well, only 1 second separated them last Saturday at the club race.
Super close, and I know there's always plenty of banter around the Dransfield dinner table as to who had the best day on Saturday. So Tyler got, I think for the first time this season, got the better of Zoe. So I'm sure Zoe will be out looking for revenge. There's the Imagine signage skiff there with Nathan Wilmot on the helm. New skiff that's only been on the water for a shortish period of time. I know they're still trying to get that boat up to speed, but they are always thereabouts.
Pretty reasonable crew on that boat as well, with multiple Australian champion Ricky Bridge and and Australian sailing CEO and multiple world and Olympic champion Mel Page.
Yep, three gold medals and a lot of national, world and state championships on that boat. Imagine signage.
It's quite funny, when we got out here earlier, there was really no one out here, and just the slow flow of skiffs starting to come out here on the sound. And is that the Queens of Buckingham?
That is the Queens of Buckingham, so that's our only all-female
swimming team.
Oops. But,
who have they got out of their consortium on there today, Dole?
I believe Sophie Hart is steering.
Yep. Emily Fuster and Tara Jansen.
Okay, yep.
According to the entry list anyway.
Yeah, as far as we know. But yeah, Sophie Hart stepping up to helming duties today, replacing Fiona Harris. But yeah, the only all-female crew out here, and they've been really going pretty well, I've got to say. You know, Tira is new to skiff sailing. Emily, a long time sort of retired from sailing while she retired her very talented sailing kids. So great to see the girls out here, and great support from Buckingham Marine, who are sponsoring a number of 16 and 13-foot skiffs in the fleet.
On screen there we got Wichita Pacific from St George Sailing Club, Nicole Barnes, Luca Damick and Pete Valpani. They've been going quite well as well. One of the numerous female skippers down St George. Over half the fleet actually has female skippers at St George at the moment. So, and once again, at the pointy end, they're winning more races, the girls, than the guys.
They're going really well, yeah. There's Rivcon.
Jess Rivers.
Yep, Belmont boat.
Although, yep.
And Jess has got her brother Kai and Jacob West. A couple of young guys that I've seen come through the junior ranks and move up into the skiffs. The Rivers and Jake, they're from Gosford, but they sail at the Belmont Club.
So they'd be also eligible for the youth division. So one of the things we do with the state titles and the national titles in the 16s, we have a youth division and also a female division. Although, yeah, with the number of female skippers now, it's becoming less and less need for the separate division.
Yeah, Jess will be eligible for both. Yeah.
Yep.
Eric Storage from Middle Harbour Skiff Club. So that's Scotty Cotton on the helm. And he's got Nath Edwards and Alex Leslie. So those guys have been around for a while, and famously tend to win one heat at a national championship. Haven't been able to string a title together, but they're always there and abouts, and they're on their home track today, so we might see something good from them.
The coats from Belmont, Darby Jones and that Milko Adam Gilson on the sheet,
and young Taj Walters.
Yeah, they took out the Port Hunter Championships, which was held a couple of weeks back up on Newcastle Harbour. Quite an interesting day up there, evidently, with a bit of breeze going through full 360. But yeah, they sailed well, obviously, to take out that win.
Coats are a good sponsor that they've had for a couple of years now, and Darby both Darby and Taj are two young guys that, while I've been coaching over the last 10 years or so, I've seen come through the Flying 11 class and step up, and great to see more young talent, both really talented young sailors. And of course Taj, a son of Matty Walters, who's probably watching. G'day, Matt. Long-standing and talented skiff crew, following in Dad's footsteps, young Taj.
Home construct from Middle Harbour. Got Drew Spring, another long-time skiff sailor.
Yeah, Drew took a bit of a break for a few years, but it's great to see him back this season. contacted me a few times when he was looking for boats to potentially buy. That hootie you've just heard is the on station for the start line. Are we going for time? 1:20. 5 minutes to go to a start.
5 minutes to a warning.
To a warning, warning signal. Yeah.
We can start in 5 minutes. We get a jump on them.
Well, we might need to in this breeze, Jim.
Yeah. We do go to windward well with the
Good VMG.
good BMG. Yeah.
The Buckingham Marine 13-foot skiff. Expect to see them at the front of the 13 fleet. They've been going very well in the lead up. Theo Franklin crewing with young Ash Napper. So Theo's won a 13 Australian Championship, and Ash has come through the juniors winning multiple titles, and of course Ash being the son of Jimmy's old forward hand, Rob Napper, who's now on the Imey Barnabas building 16-foot skiff these days.
Yep.
Another boat to watch today, I'd expect.
I actually think they're primed for a really good one. They had a good win last Sunday at Belmont.
I did hear that, yeah.
Yeah. I think, all the Belmont guys said they're going the quickest of anyone they've seen, so we'll wait and see where that holds through. I spoke to Rob during the week, and he reckens they'd be lucky to finish mid-fleet, but I think that was just Rob being
Modest
Rob. Yeah.
I know Rob very well, and I doubt he would accept that as
He wouldn't accept it.
as a look at himself. That's for sure.
Still one of the fittest guys going round in a six.
Honestly, fitter than he's ever been, I think. Yeah.
That's Diveco there, the 13-foot skiff on screen.
I think that's one of the few 13s, if I'm correct in saying, that has a father-son or...
Hamish Cameron with Ian Cameron. So Ian, a quite accomplished laser sailor, father crewing for his son Hamish. Hamish also has stepped up from the Flying 11, so he's still sailing a Flying 11 actually with his younger sister Felicity. They went quite well last weekend up at Pittwater at the State Championships. Who have we got there? That's
Red Concrete.
Red Concrete.
That's James Downey.
Yeah, with Alistair Hunter in the bow today, and Seb. So young crew. Yeah, Alistair used to sail with my son Will on the Employment Hero, and last weekend he was sailing on the Australian sailing team Hamilton Island 16, so he's getting around at the moment. And there's, we were just talking about Imey Barnabas building. There they are. Young Joel Beashel on the helm, along with Trent Barnabas and Rob Napper. A very accomplished crew. Yeah. So Joel, a young up-and-comer, but famous Beashel name, and Joel has excelled in all sorts of classes from Flying 11s to 29ers, and more recently in the skiffs. And with Rob and Trent guiding him.
There on screen we've got Zyke, Rob Size from Middle Harbour. One of the brand new boat this year.
Brand new boat from Sydney Composites Boat Tech, sailing from Middle Harbour. And they've been, I'm based in Middle Harbour a lot, and I've seen those guys doing a lot of training during the week. So Rob with Jamie Hargrave and Tommy Stanbury. And I'm sure by the time we get to Nationals, those guys are going to be on the pace. Been sailing well out of Middle Harbour. Very impressed with their new boat. And, to get a new boat on the water and get it up to speed in a short period of time is not easy. That was Artie Bell.
That is
Belmont.
That is the 5 minute hooter you just heard. The warning signal going up. So, yep, we are looking at a 3-lapper.
3 for the 16s, and we expect 2 for the 13s.
Yeah.
Looks like the breeze has just settled a little at the moment, Jack, would you agree? Dropped down to maybe 12, 13 knots?
Yeah, exactly. Which should hopefully get us away a bit cleaner off the start. Bit of a tide's running in.
Should hold them back a
Should
little
hold them
bit.
back a bit, yeah.
On the line, which will help our starter Hugh Lester a little, but the U flag will certainly hold them back more than the tide.
Which we should see in about 10 seconds' time.
We're about to find out.
There it is. The U flag is up. I was actually speaking to Hugh Lester earlier today, and he spoke to me about using the U flag, and I said, "Well, I wonder how many of the boats in the fleet actually know fully what it means." So no doubt there was some scurrying to the rule book when the message went out this morning that it was going to be used.
You would hope the majority of them have been around long enough to know their basic code flags, Jack.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so.
Red pumps red, you can see there just having a look at the line. They'll be just assessing the lay of the line and thinking about where they're going to start. You can see from the overhead drone shot there's quite a lot of boats on the water here. This first start is certainly going to be interesting. It's been quite a while since any of these boats have started in these sorts of numbers.
Yeah.
Might be a bit of rust on from last season.
Absolutely. The big fleet, big fleet racing, it's completely different to when you got 10, 15 boats that you might be at a small club and you come to 60 boat fleet, and it's very easy to get caught out and find yourself second or third row.
You can just see Buckingham Marine Services there as Dan Turner, Gus Williams and Matty Stenter, and they are sporting some new sails today.
No. Actually, Dol, I think that's
the other Buckingham boat.
That's the other Buckingham from Belmont. That's
it is too.
Zach Hayes.
Okay. Buckingham Belmont. Yeah. Zach Hayes, Miles Geddes, and James Henderson. Okay.
We've got to be thankful for some of our really good sponsors. You got your Buckingham Marine sponsoring multiple boats, including 16s and 13s. Red Pumps, Concrete Pumping. Greg Winder sponsoring 3 16s and a couple of 13s. Amazing support, and also the overall event as well. Amazing support.
Yeah, Modern Concept Constructions from Manly with 16s and 13s. Fluid Building also have a 16 and a 13. So not only supporting, and there's more too, but not only supporting the 16s, but in supporting the youth in the 13-foot skiffs, which is fantastic.
There's even a Sail Media boat out there, isn't there?
There is a Sail Media boat from Middle Harbour.
So we're starting to get down a minute 20 now to the start. Boats are starting to rack up. Still a long way off the line, a lot of the boats.
They are a long way back. That rib pin end's a long way down, Jack.
It certainly is.
It's a long line, so there's plenty of room for them, that's for sure.
Boats, they seem to be spread out along the line. There doesn't seem to be any grouping at any one end, and that's probably a good sign for a clean start.
Yeah, majority of boats sort of at that halfway point on the line down towards the pin. You just saw the pin boat on screen a second ago there. We're counting down, coming down to 40 seconds, and we're still, what do you reckon, Jack? They're a good 100 metres off the line at the moment.
Easy, yeah.
So that U flag's given them a scare, I think. I like where Coates are currently. Darby Jones, he's starting to he's sensed that everyone's holding back a bit, and he's decided to step out a bit.
Yep. Bosco just behind him there, also looking good.
Daniel Turner in Buckingham Marina and Swell, both in good positions. We're counting down, coming down to 10 seconds.
Looks like the guys at the boat end are closer to the line than the pin end boats.
go. A couple were pretty close there, but no flags up on the committee boat, so no extra hooter. We've got a clean start.
All right, so Red Pumps Red got a nice jump at the boat end. Bosca in the middle of the line. Seem to be the two picks at the moment.
Yeah, great start from Sarah Lee in the Bosca.
Yeah, Daniel Turner on Buckingham's as well. But this is where it's going to be interesting. Swell racing with the big rig.
They are, yeah.
Yeah. If they can hold these other boats upwind, then look out downwind.
Yeah, and it looks like, how about Contender there, Jack? Do they look like they're big rig as well? Contender sailcloth?
Yeah,
I think they might be.
bit hard to see from this distance, but yeah, maybe.
It's hard for me to see that far, mate, with my old eyes.
We are getting old. I've had my eyes done, it's still hard to see. No, yeah, Contender does have the big rig in.
Yeah, and down to leeward, Domino's doing quite well as also. And who's that most lured boat, Jack?
Is that, I wonder if it's Coastal Advisory maybe, Ben Brunnages.
Ben Brunnages, yep. But Red Pumps and Canberra Airport top end of the line looking very good at the moment, getting through the water very nicely, as is Tommy Clout in Tugara. Nice start from those guys as well.
Now, traditionally, it's a race to the left here in a nor'easter.
It certainly is, yeah.
With this little bit more north in it than today, will the left pay as much as it normally does? I can't see why it wouldn't, but...
Yeah, but your comment about the breeze direction, it means it gets very patchy, Jack, so it's a very fine line as to when you choose to tack out of here. A lot of boats starting to choose to tack early. See a number of boats have just tacked there now, including Coates, who got out of there quite nicely.
So that's Shade to Water. Tom Burton has just tacked as well. I don't know whether you've got them on screen. No, we don't, but they've crossed behind Bosca.
And that looks like a big rig, is it, Jack?
On Shade to Water,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can just see now that's Bosca just tacking now. So,
yeah, I'd say that
they're in a pretty good position, but we'll just have to wait and see when they intersect with the windward boats, who've chosen to tack out most of them.
Yeah,
with the exception of Red Pumps.
Bosca, Red Pumps, or is it Canberra Airport?
Yeah, Buckingham Marine doing quite well too. Looks to me like maybe Canberra Airport might be the lead boat right now, Jack.
Yeah.
So that's Archie Cropley with Miles Davis and Davey and Zach Barnabas on there today. Good to see Zach making a comeback after his big season of rugby.
What did they win? They
won the Shoot Shield.
Shoot Shield, yeah.
Warringah Rats. Both the Barnabas boys playing a big role in that game.
We're here to talk about sailing.
Oh, I know, mate, but
No, well done to the Barnabas boys. It was a very great achievement after leaving Manly.
Canberra Airport on a really nice line there at the moment.
They have picked a very nice lane to come out of the Bombora area. They're in good pressure there at the moment. And just in front of us, we're to windward of them, and I can see a nice puff coming towards us, Jack.
Yep.
Nice bit of pressure coming.
Yeah, at the same time, the boats on the right have just picked up a bit more, but yeah, nice line for Canberra Airport. They're probably about 4 to 5 degrees higher than the boats to leeward of them. If they can get into this puff, they'll should accelerate again.
And that's swell racing just to leeward of them, you can see with the big rig, and just coming into shot there now is Sarah Lee and Bosca. Just going out of shot, and these are the boats who are out on the left-hand side, further towards the middle of the harbour.
So the other thing's going to be interesting when we get up here into sort of Manly. The not going as far up in as a lot of the Manly boats would for their normal club racing. Just might change where they tack, where they jibe coming down the run. Will they jibe set like they normally would? So there's a whole heap of different permutations going on with this race. So
can get a little bit patchy up towards the top of the course here too. So the the big rig can come into play. You can see the freshwater class ferry just dividing the fleet right now. So boats to the left and boats to the right.
So we've got Bosca and Buckingham's are heading back left while Canberra still go right. Also heading right is Shade to Water, Typhoon and Coastal Advisory. So we think we might have spotted the top market. No, sorry.
Is it Jimmy?
It's up where the old Ocean World was.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I can't see that far.
No.
Number of marks have been dropped around for other fleets, so we're just identifying which one is the top. There's Typhoon, Alex Hart, just tacking there with Lockie Pryor on the sheet and Lindsay Stead. Unfortunately for him, the Contender's just lamped one right in front of him. And Shade to Water, also with the big rig like Contender. So it's starting to see the big rigs just starting to come into their own a little here now.
Yeah, especially this top end of the course where, like you said, a bit more patchy. They got that power to drive them through the lulls. Off to the left, Red Pumps and Bosca seems to have picked up a little bit on Canberra Airport. On the left-hand side of the course, just off screen.
Shade to Water getting through the water really nicely now. Tommy Burton, another Olympic gold medalist in the fleet. Pretty hot fleet. Scotty Beebe crewing with Joel Skelton. Looking pretty good here. Canberra Airport might just cross them, but further across, Jack.
Yeah, Buckingham.
Daniel Turner looking very good. He's picked up a nice left-hand shift off the rocks, which isn't unusual on this course in this breeze. Like bit of local knowledge there's paid off.
Definitely. Now we've got probably Buckingham's, Bosca.
Canberra Airport, Red Pumps.
Shade to Water, Imagine, Dominoes, all in the mix.
Yep. Along with IME Barnabas Building. And I'll tell you who's come through quite nicely is Zoe Dransfield in Red Pumps Red. She didn't get the best of starts today, and they were a little bit deep, and already they've worked their way back into the top bunch. So once again, we're seeing the sort of pace that they've displayed in the past couple of weeks sailing out of Manly. They are making big gains. So Zoe Dransfield sailing with Hugh and Jamie Stoddart crewing. Big gains they've made. You're looking at Daniel Turner there in Buckingham. Back on the starboard tack, charging up the bay with Bosca and Shade to Water on their hammer.
Red Pumps Red. Yep.
So Zoe Dransfield, one of the ladies who've been really setting the skiff scene on fire of late.
Took out the Port Jackson Championship last month.
She had a fairly ordinary sheet hand that day.
Inexperienced 16 sailor, let's just say.
Yeah. One Tom Slingsby. And I believe Tom had a fantastic day sailing on the 16. So nice shot, looking down on top of Buckingham there.
You can almost see Gus yelling at Ruffy.
Always super flat, these guys, getting through the water very nicely. They're setting themselves up very well on this first beat. So they're just coming back over on port tack, looking for a starboard ley line probably about 250 metres from the top mark now. They're in a pretty good position to lead into this top mark, I would think. Sailing very nicely, getting through the water beautifully.
Yeah, you can tell that the hours they've spent sailing together, those boys, how many years it's been now that Gus Williams and Matt Stenner have been sailing with Ruffy. It really shows, doesn't it?
Really active crew too. They're always up and down the gunnel, really trying to milk every ounce of speed out of that boat. So they're now on starboard tack lay line into the top mark. It'll be interesting to see what approach everyone takes here, whether they go for a set or the jibe set. The jibe set's probably favoured, but you're going to be coming back through the fleet on port jibe, so it doesn't look like, it looks like a bit less air over on the right hand side there. I think you on downwind, Jack.
Yeah, definitely. I think whichever way you go, you're going to be coming back through the fleet. So I think just concentrate on staying in that breeze.
Yeah, take the breeze option. Looks like they're on a pretty easy lay there. They're just starting to spring a little bit of sheet on approach. Can have a nice little lead coming in here. Just Bosca right tucked in behind them. Bosca will want to hope that they do lay this mark. A bit hard to see from our angle right now. I think they will. No, they've had to bail out.
So Buckingham lead, first round. And going for a straight set.
Yeah, I think just they would have been going back into a lot of traffic there, Jack.
Yeah. Actually got a nice puff there as well, so that should get him out of trouble.
Bosca next around, about 20-second deficit early.
Geez, and Zoe all the way up to third. That's a great effort from where they were on the start. Yeah.
Good march through the fleet from a bad start.
Domino's fourth, Marshall Dade. They've been up and down at Belmont this year. They've had some issues. Broke a rig the other week and a few things like that, so good to see them up there. Imagine, Shade to Water and Imey.
And the red pumps, and as mentioned earlier, the Eric's being their Eric storage there and about. So, gee, that's a fair bit of action early on that we've seen. Some real snakes and ladders at the front of the fleet. Canberra Airport, the next one around.
So just off camera, the Shade to Water jibed early and having a few issues with their halyard not holding.
Yeah, with the Spinnaker chute as well, I think so. Looks like they're getting that back together. Geochemical assessments was next around with contender sailcloth coats, and then welcome back Dave O'Connor on the fluid building.
Swell Racing, Coastal Advisory, Benny Brunges, Tribeca, Benny Bradley, TTR Civil, and MTM, bunch of St George boats there. With
Wishart Pacific, another St George
fluid
boat.
capsizing just to the right of that shot.
Oh, they have to.
Yeah, you just see on the right of screen there, you'll see it.
Typhoon, Alex Hart. We've got Chris Thomas in Botany Access, choosing to jibe set, but they've got some capsized boats there to deal with.
Oh, geez.
Sutec Building with the little rig. Red Concrete. All the gear, I think. Nicholas Stabik.
Yeah,
in his
another
new
new
boat.
boat.
Yeah.
Shebang. Kamikaze from Middle Harbour. Having a good day.
Gee, just a stream of boats coming in now. One mistake's going to cost you 10, 15 places pretty quickly.
It's one of those fleets, you look behind you and you see a good number of boats and you think you're having a good day, then you realise you finished 45th.
Yeah, but you're only a couple of minutes off the pace.
We're going to try and shoot down towards the bottom mark here. So the drone's bringing you some fantastic shots.
Sorry about the roar of several hundred horsepower you can hear in the background there. We'll just speak up a little. But, yeah, the lead group, we're just looking down. Can't see the leader on screen there now, but...
Buckingham's still in front. They're on starboard.
They are. And quite a way in front at the moment. Still 2 laps to go. That's the chasing pack you're looking at there. Boats we've got on screen there. Coates probably currently in about 12th position, I'd guess. But there's 15 boats you could throw a blanket over right now.
So for those viewers at home wondering how if you're wondering how Tagara's going, they were just halfway up the work just then, so they must have had a swim just off the start line. They had a reasonable start.
But Jack, we were saying before, huge gain to Red Pumps Red. They're up into second place clearly now.
Clear second, yeah.
About to, there they are with the red Spinnaker, you can see there now. So they're now in clear second place. So in the space of a lap, they've come through from a fairly ordinary start. They are on a charge. But Daniel Turner, there is Domino's Belmont. And that's our leader, Daniel Turner in Buckingham.
So he's taking the right-hand turn at the gate. Zoe's not just clear second, she's second, Daylight third at the moment. Bosca's probably going to be third. Domino's might challenge them, but yeah, she's cleared out dramatically.
Not the cleanest of drops there from the Buckingham crew, but they got it done. Spinnaker's in the boat and they're off upwind.
Imagine signage on the screen, probably coming in about fifth at the moment.
Fifth place, I think, yep. Looks like a new Spinnaker they've got sporting there. Slightly different coloured signage that we've seen in the past. Next around, we've had Red Pumps in second place, and it looks like we're going to have very tight battle between Bosca and Domino's. Great race from the Domino's crew so far.
Yeah.
Very good. You mentioned they've been going well up at Belmont, Jack.
They started the season very well. They probably were the form boat, together with Shade to Water. And then, had a bit up and down recent weeks. But,
So,
obviously back to form today.
Young Marshall Day on the helm with Big Dallas and Will Beck.
Yeah. Another famous sailing name.
It is indeed.
Barnabas building around behind Bosca. Looks like everyone's taking the right-hand turn at the gate.
Yeah, most. I think it only go to the left if they're forced to by traffic, I think.
Yeah.
Behind Red Pumps, we've got Shade to Water. Tom Burton, Contender, next one round. There you go. Swell have decided to take that left-hand Jack.
Yep.
At the right-hand turn, Canberra Airport, Eric's and Geochemical.
It's quite interesting. The only two boats have taken the left turn at the moment are from Belmont and with big rigs. So, wonder if they're thinking they're better suited on that side of the course.
MTM signage just going around now. I don't think we've given them a shout yet. Tommy Dawson with Bryce Edwards and Jerome Watts.
Yep. Formerly, that skiff was formerly known as Infinity Rigging. New sponsors come on board, so good to see.
Oh, Typhoon looking in a bit of strife here right now. Oh, will they get around? They need to jibe.
There's a number of discussions being held between the various boats coming around the mark.
Discussions.
Polite discussions, Jack.
Yeah, late drop there from the Typhoon. Got themselves in a little bit of strife, and they've got the big rig on too, so didn't. That wasn't an easy manoeuvre to make under pressure.
No.
The yellow Spinnaker there is Zyke from Middle Harbour, Rob Size. New boat, probably still just getting that sorted out.
Gone for a nice conservative early drop.
Certainly have, yeah. Bartley Construction just to windward of them.
Now, looking up the course, even the boats that have taken that sort of turn left at the gate, and they've all sort of tacked early and heading back with the rest of the fleet up to the left up the work. So I think it's pretty clear which way the fleet believes is the way to go.
Yeah, anything in that sort of northerly direction, the Bombora side is favoured. We've also got this incoming tide, so a bit less tide over on that side. Maximum flow comes pretty much through where the gate is positioned currently. we're just going to make our way up course. Get ourselves a bit further up course so that we can catch the leaders, and hopefully for our 13-foot skiff fans we can catch the 13-foot skiffs who are on their way to the top mark right now.
I think some may even be around the mark.
Yeah, I can't see any Spinnakers yet, Jack, but they can't be too far away, I don't think. So that's Zoe Dransfield in red pumps giving chase, currently in second place.
You'll see there, it looks like Zoe's closed up the gap on the Buckingham Marine. So
They have probably halved that distance that they were at the bottom mark. So red pumps red, certainly on a charge. Wily old Hugh Stoddart on the sheet. He knows his way around this track. Looks like they're just about to tack. There they go. So they'll come back at Buckingham.
And I think they've probably put 30 seconds on Bosca since the bottom mark.
So you mentioned earlier the female skippers are really taking it to the boys. So we've got female skippers in second and third currently. And red pumps red are really coming at Buckingham. And last time down they were super quick downwind, red pumps red. So their forte of late has been their speed upwind, but they were super quick downwind on that last leg. So we might possibly see them challenging for the lead on this next leg.
Yeah, I think maybe Buckingham's might have just jumped a little in the last 30 seconds.
Just in that last little exchange, but now they're bouncing back off the rocks, which isn't really the favoured tack. So Zoe now coming back at the rocks.
That looks like our lead 13.
Yeah, I can't quite pick up who that is at the moment, Jack.
55's Abigail Rolfe.
And the other one was Bigfoot, and there's Cadence and Co.
Yeah, and Buck and Simple's in the mix. Our leader now I can see there's Harkin. So Heidi Bates with Orlando Sadlick.
Yeah.
Pick them up.
Just going to show the quality of some of the 13s. They're almost at the top mark, and they're still, obviously a big fleet in the 16s. They can get caught, some of the 16s got caught out, but yeah, they're almost caught up to some of the back end of the 16s.
After giving them quite a healthy start. So there's Heidi Bates and Orlando Sadlick in Harkin, leading the fleet. Former championship winning crew.
And Buckingham Marine there with Ash Napper.
Yeah, and they're the two that we expect to be the big contenders. They've been duking it out. So both those boats have won titles before. And here they are, close proximity, duking it out again.
Harkin leads. Only a matter of seconds back to Buckingham. Buckingham jibe sets.
Yeah, Harkin with a straight set. Buckingham choosing to take the other option. There they are. Jibe set from Ash and Theo. A few of the chasing pack there now.
58 red pumps Manly. Gemma Hopkins, Harvey Windus.
Next around. Gemma, another former champion, with Harvey stepping into crew this year. Come up out of the flying 11s. Oh, little bit of strife there, but they've survived.
Bigfoot sailing, is it? Or no?
No, that's Buck and Simple.
Buck and Simple, yep. It seemed to be. Not always. Lachlan Jansen, Max Barrett.
Next in will be the Imey. Just might sneak attack inside Skelcon there.
Yeah, it's good to see Skelcon. So, the Belmont 13.
New Belmont boat,
Yep, with Hamish Skelton, Sophie Drummond. And they're actually going to be, Skelcon actually sponsoring the 16 and 13 foot skiff nationals in January. So, at Belmont.
Imey just in front of them is Ollie Ross with Charlie Snell. Followed by Imagine Signage.
Bo Dransfield, David Tolk.
Brand new sponsor came on board last week.
Yeah,
Scotty Archer got the phone call, came down, met with Bo and said, lovely guy, let's do it. So
surprisingly, that signage got done pretty quickly too.
he must know someone.
Yeah.
So also up there, we got Bigfoot Bags and Covers there, Byron Lowe and Lachlan Favaloro. And what else we got there? Botany Scaffold. Or Botany Scaffold, Levi Windust and Cooper Lowe.
Yep. And then Taylor Lee's in the Kitchen Maker.
Just get some kites off the 13s.
Texaco, little trouble with the kite there, but looks like they're up and running now. Angus Griffin with Ewan Darlow.
Just crossing in front of them with the blue kite was Infinity Rigging from St George, Tom Hughes and Noah Shenhall. The Camerons on the Diveco.
Yep, Hamish with Dad Ian.
And another, that's Red Pumps Belmont, so Jaden Morris, Phoebe Pilgrim.
Who's in next, Jimmy?
Let you call this one.
The mighty Sail Media, here she comes. Good young crew. This is their first year in 13s, so it's good to see them stepping up from flying 11s and getting into the 13s.
Yep, Ella Sangster from Middle Harbour, sailing with Holly Herbertson.
We've got the MCC, so we've got Meg Bates and Rosa Crawford.
And we have the first of the 16s just about to go around the top mark in Buckingham Marine, Daniel Turner from Manly.
And that last little exchange looks like they've extended a little bit, Jack.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting now that Buckingham have chosen to jibe set. A few less boats up in the area. Actually, quite a good gaggle of boats coming in now in the 13s, fighting out, trying to be next round. Looks like Fluids won that battle.
It's all the building companies. You've got Fluid Building, Bartley Construction and Cadence & Co. Master Builders Association.
Off shot a second to go. Just a little bit of a scrappy tack from Red Pumps Red. Just cost them quite a bit of time then. But here they come. Around the top mark. They're about 35 seconds behind Buckingham. And that's just allowed Imey and Imagine to just step up a little bit closer to Red Pumps now. That bad tack was a bit expensive.
And Red Pumps.
Tyler Dransfield next round. Red Pumps.
So the big loser out of this one has been Sarah Lee on the Bosco, unfortunately.
Certainly has, Jack. Yeah.
Gone from second down that last run
to third they were down the run.
Down to, now 6th or 7th.
Yeah. And Sarah knows this track pretty well. She did a lot of sailing out of Manly. A little bit of a surprise. Canberra Airport. And then Shade to Order, Tom Burton. Canberra Airport and a bit of strife here, Jack.
Yeah.
Are they going to save it?
Yeah, I think they got it.
Just.
Oh, nice big rooster tail. You didn't quite.
Had that rudder well and truly jammed away. Yeah.
Alrighty, once again, I'm going to try and shoot down to the bottom to bring you the shots from going around the bottom mark.
Pretty hectic, isn't it, Jack?
Never stops.
It's all happening.
It's all right for you two.
You're doing a great job weaving your way through all these boats, Jimmy, as always.
Just to make things interesting out here, we've got a fleet of bigs sailing out of Manly Yacht Club, which we have to contend with as well.
A few speed humps.
Well, they're hopefully not speed humps, Dolly.
Oh, close cross there.
Yeah, so that was red pumps and Imey. Red pumps were on starboard. Imey just had to luff up a little bit to get across. But, yeah, just a little bit of a loss there, obviously, from red pumps. Red pumps red, I should specify. Because coming into the mix now is Imagine signage. There's Bosca on screen, and there's Imagine you can see there. So they're probably up in fourth spot, Imagine.
It's so easy that it's real snakes and ladders with these congested waterway and hot fleet. You only got to make one mistake, you're a little bit out of phase, and next thing you know, you're getting bounced backwards and forwards off different boats.
A number of boats. So, like I said earlier, quite easily to make a decent mistake, you're looking at 10 boats.
I think the best strategy in this sort of racing is just to, get out in front and consolidate. Isn't that right, Dom?
You should be out coaching them, mate.
I should.
Yeah, great job, Jack. Win the start and stay between your opposition and the next mark. Works every time.
Mate, if you stay between your opposition and the finish, you win most races.
So there's the Imey Barnabas building. They're on a nice puff there. Great overhead shot. So they're probably at the moment, they're maybe the furthest left boat. They're just jibing now to come back at the fleet. So probably we're looking for a bit of pressure there, and I think they're going to cross in front of Red Pumps Red. Yes, they are. There they are. So that's right now, at least, that is Imey Barnabas building have moved up into second spot. Daniel Turner in Buckingham still in the lead. There you can see Imey. The red pumps you can see in the background is the 13-foot skiff.
What's actually going to be interesting, I'm just looking at off camera, the Imagine signage once again. It's picked up some time.
Yeah, they've jibed onto a lovely gust there, Jack. There they are. Nice bit of pressure, very well read by the boys. Three very experienced crew, as we've mentioned. Buckingham just going in for a jibe drop now and taking the right-hand turn at the gate. So they come. Bit of an early drop, but safe.
Look, when you've got that sort of lead, it's best just to get it done nice and clean. Imey's going to be second round the bottom here. Barnabas building.
Yeah, terrific gain there by Joel Beashel and Trent and Rob. Going to have a bit on in this drop, but Rob Napper's the man for the job.
In the background there, you can see Imagine jibing in front of Red Pumps Red.
Just wondering whether Red Pumps Red's picked up some weed or bag or something, like it's charging through the fleet.
And suddenly,
The handbrake's gone on.
You're dead right, Jimmy. They did have that bad tack up near the top, but they seem to have slowed down a bit.
That doesn't cost you, I don't think, that much.
On a whole leg.
On a whole leg, Dole.
No. So they'll round behind Imagine. Meanwhile, you can see at the top of screen now is Red Pumps taking the left turn. Tyler Dransfield. Shade to water, Tom Burton. He's going to elect to take the right as well, while Domino's Belmont chooses to take the right. So still super tight racing here to go, folks, with a lap to go.
Yep, Bosca heading left out towards North Head side.
Canberra Airport. Oh, bit of a dodgy rounding there.
Do you think this breeze has kicked up a little, guys, or...?
maybe in the gust, Jimmy, but it's super patchy at the moment.
Still got
isn't
those
it?
holes.
And that's where I think where we've seen the big gains and losses is who's been able to stay in the pressure. Eric's, you just saw flash across your screen, taking the right. They've consistently been in about that 10th spot. Jimmy just willing the Sail Media 13 to stay upright, and they did well to save it just then.
Now having a second go at it.
There they are.
Safely around.
No problems.
Great job. Meanwhile, the Fluid 13 has just capsized right in the middle of the gate, so they're going to be cause a bit of a traffic jam. There they are.
One way to get to know the fleet, Dom.
Oh, and geochemical assessments.
Oh, ouch.
Just the left of screen, geochemical.
They hooked
Came
up
to-
rigs.
yeah,
Hooked up
with
rigs with
MTM.
MTM, I think.
Yeah. It looked very wild.
So MTM was next round. Coastal Advisory. Coates taking the other side of the gate. Swell Racing and then Tribeca. So we're on the last lap.
We are indeed. All to play for now. Pretty quick recovery from geochemical assessments, I've got to say. They're upright. They've still got to get everything sorted and get going, but pretty quick recovery from those guys. But as we said, one mistake costs you multiple places in this hot fleet.
But especially in the short course format too, you know, like...
Not a chance to catch up, is there?
No, well, it could be worse, though. We could be at the Belmont Sprints and capsize. That's always a day over.
It's not necessarily day over, it's just day changed.
Yes.
You get to watch the racing from the deck of the club. It's not a bad day, actually.
Very good.
Done it many a time.
So we'll just make our way back up course now. Catch the action as we get up towards the top of the course, and 13 fans will try and keep you abreast of the 13s when we catch up to them again. Looks like Buckingham Marine on camera there now. They're got a fairly comfortable lead now. They should be able to just sail fairly conservative and keep their opposition tucked away, and they should be able to take out this race all going well.
I think there's a couple of guys on the, or 3 guys on the IME Barnabas building that are going to do everything they can to make that a bit awkward for him.
But it's certainly giving chase. But there's a bit of distance to make up there, Jack.
That there is, but as we've seen, can happen up this top end of the course with the holes and the lighter, thicker breweries.
There's the 2 boats you can see there. The camera shot makes it look a little bit closer than it probably is, the lens view. But I'd suspect...
Still probably a 30-second.
Yeah, good 30 seconds at least, I think. It's probably 250, 300 metres in it. And Domino's behind Red Pumps Red. Look like they're getting through the water nicely, Domino's. And, you know, the Belmont guys usually aren't used to sailing in the sort of slop that we get here at Manly, so it takes a bit of adjusting.
I think today a bit of flatter water. They're probably a bit more like home, but Big Dallas in the middle there. He's been driving these boats around the course for a long time.
He can swing it down, the big fella.
Yeah.
They've certainly got plenty of Cunningham East on that boat. It's like Cunningham off and out haul on. They've got a lot of radiating creases in that mainsail. That's Barnabas building an IME of tacked back onto starboard to come back over to the Bombora shore side, which is where Buckingham Marine have gone and where Buckingham Marine made early gains in this race. There they are now. Cheeky Matthew Stenter just gave us a big smile, smiling for the camera. He always knows where the cameras are, young Matt. So Imy's chosen to tack a bit earlier and are leading out to leeward of Buckingham. So both boats sailing pretty much the same track, which does make it hard to make a gain. So Daniel Turner making sure he's just keeping his opposition tucked away to leeward, so they can't get a sneaky shift.
Over on the right-hand side, we've got Imagine signage. Nathan Wilmot has actually... Looks like he's picked up a little bit on Imy.
Yeah, so they chose to get a bit more offshore, but it just depends what that starboard tack brings them as far as shift at coming back. Almost over there at Ed Head.
I think the Imagine's got the Imy here.
Going to be pretty close, Jack. They certainly have the starboard advantage as well.
Bit of traffic for them, but...
So there's Imagine, and there is Imy.
He comes across. Yep.
Imagine in front. So Imagine in second. Imy Barnabas Building in third. So, yeah, these results outside of the leader are constantly changing. Once again, we're seeing Zoe Dransfield make a bit of a gain again in Red Pumps Red too. So maybe they've cleared the weed off the centreboard, Jimmy.
Maybe so.
Because they seem to have suddenly found a bit of pace again. There's Nathan Wilmot. Ricky Bridge.
So shortly we'll try and pick up a couple of the 13s. It looks like there might have been a lead change in the 13s with Buckingham's now leading over Harkin. There they are now.
There they are. That's Buckingham. So that's Ash Napper with Theo Franklin.
Shortly in the background you'll see Harkin. And
There they are. So you can see it's still very close. So all to play for on this Spinnaker run. Last Spinnaker run for them to head down to the finish. You're going to see a bit of a convergence of the 16s and the 13s here, I think. Plenty of action. So you can see both those boats being sailed exceptionally well. Both boats dead flat, getting through the water nicely.
Might have to have a chat with Ash about his hiking. The Skippers Union won't be happy.
Because he is hiking.
These two boats are constantly out training, which is good to see, and obviously they're reaping the rewards from their training. So,
and Orlando and Heidi on the Harkin also doing a bit of time at the moment, dabbling in the 16 at club level, looking to step it up.
I think it's great to see. Like the 13's been such a great thing for the class. I think if you go through the 16 fleet, especially Manly, I don't think there's a boat out there that doesn't have a 13 sailor or ex-13 sailor on it.
Buckingham Tax. There they are. So you can bit of a close-up there so you can see Matt and Gus doing their thing.
Ruffy's probably got an advantage over everyone, Dole, when you think about it. There's two really good sheet hands right there on that boat. So if Matty Stenner's feeling a little bit, overworked, he can swap out with Gussie.
They're interchangeable, you're telling us, Jimmy.
Or exactly. Are you saying that as a forward end, Matty Stenner makes a really good sheet end?
Maybe. He's skipped the Andu last week in the 18s, and
he's pretty good on the helm. And look, coming up through the juniors, Matt was always a steerer. So
he's one of those natural sailors. He goes all right on the yachts as well.
So they're now on starboard ley line and on approach for the final time to the top mark for the first heat.
So Imagine and Imy, each time they cross, they swap positions for second and third. So that's going to be one to watch down the run.
Yeah, it's really closed up a bit in the chasing pack. We've got both the red pumps in the mix as well. Imagine, Imy, Barnabas Building, and then Dominoes and Bosca just behind them.
So Buckingham's and Buckingham's in the 16s and the 13s.
leading both fleets. There's the shot. Eric's ruining it, unfortunately. Sorry, Mitch. We had an opportunity to line them up there.
So Harkin, the second 13's about to go around the top mark.
On Buckingham 13 just really got gassed there by Eric's removal 16. Cost them a bit of time then.
So Imagine's going to be, looks like they're going to be second in the 16s, this top mark. Closely followed by Imey.
50 seconds, Jack.
50 seconds.
It's a fair lead to Buckingham.
It's a fair lead in a short course race. Of this.
Certainly is.
Yeah. So the other one sort of come back in a little bit. It's the Shade to Water.
Yep.
And the red pumps, the big red pumps.
So Refine there a lap down, just going round there now. So red pumps Tyler up into fourth, and then red pumps red Zoe into fifth.
Now, interesting for Tyler is defending state champion. So, you can't win the championship in the first race, but you can lose one sometimes. So he's a fourth. If he can hold on to that,
it's a keeper. It's all about consistency. Bosca, Dominoes, and Shade to Order next around in that order. The two red pumps boats just hooked onto a nice little puff.
very short-lived, but...
Yeah. So next up, Canberra Airport. And for those 13 fans, we have next around Imey, then
Kitchen
the
Maker.
Kitchen Maker. Buck and Simple will follow the Kitchen Maker. Lockie Jansen. We've got,
And then Red Pumps Manly.
okay, Gemma and Harvey, and then Bigfoot behind them.
Other boats in the 16s coming up at the top mark include Coates, Swell, Contender, MTM, Coastal Advisory.
A couple of ferries coming through about to split the fleet. Could make things interesting. Both a fast ferry and a freshwater.
And it looks like overall a little bit the breeze has sort of died again.
Yeah, it's quite patchy, Jack, isn't it?
Yeah. Not as many gusts coming through.
We'll talk about it later, but if it keeps going this way, a couple of those big rigs could come into play for the heat too. That was Jimmy fairly close to a ferry. If you're wondering what all that green and yellow was flying past.
Unfortunately, I'm sort of landlocked up here in Manly Cove, so there's not much I can do.
Bit of a tight corner there. So you just saw Red Pumps jibe.
Let's see the cross here in the 13. Harkin's on screen. Buckingham's coming back on starboard at them. I think they'll still cross.
Yeah, I think Buckingham's got the
Harkin's
jibing on top of
Harkin
them.
choosing to jibe. Great race between those two boats.
Imagine put an extra jibe in to go back into the shore there, you can see in the background.
Yeah, a little vein of breeze runs down that shore there, Jack, and looks like Imagine haven't jibed back out on such a good one, but you might see Imey in a second. Imey, but there they are, Imey Barnabas building. Now you can actually see that dark gust that they're about to jibe back onto shortly, I think. There they go.
So, just off camera, but Imagine sort of caught up with the leading 13s a little bit there. Does that open the door for Imey?
13 just capsized.
I think a few wind shadows from the 16s just played a bit of havoc there, so big advantage there to the Harkin They've just been gifted the win.
On the flip side, it's helped Ash's old man on the IME a little bit. Potentially get back into it.
I hope it wasn't Dad that gassed them.
No, it was Imagine, unfortunately. So on the right screen there, you see Buckingham's coming into the finish.
Coming in
Blue
line.
mark in the background.
Only about 30 metres from the finish now. Here they go. A lot of marks down here of different colours. I presume Ruffy read the sailing instructions, and there
we
they go. Arm raised there by Matt and Gus. They're pretty happy to take out that first race of the New South Wales Championship. Meanwhile, IME Barnabas Building in a pretty tight battle, it looks like, with Imagine signage. So
IME looks lifted there, Dole.
they look a bit soft compared to Imagine right now, but
The other one to watch way off screen, Dole, is Red Pumps right out here in the middle of the channel.
indeed,
Yeah,
just jibing. So Red Pumps Tyler Dransfield,
rolling the dice.
and there's quite a bit of a pressure line there. IME Barnabas Building are also going to have to jibe, and right now Red Pumps aren't laying the finish line, Jimmy.
No.
Coming in hot.
They are definitely coming in hot. So you're about to see IME Barnabas Building jibe. There they go. This is going to be pretty tight.
So Imagine it, I'd say we'll get second.
IME on starboard. Oh,
Yep,
jeepers.
just get it.
Yeah. So Imagine from IME Barnabas Building, and then Red Pumps. Good comeback from Tyler Dransfield. Next through we'll have Shade to Water, Tom Burton. With the big rig, they've come through nicely, and then Bosca, Sarah Lee.
Then it'll be, so it'll be Red Pumps Red would be the next one in.
Zoe Dransfield.
Or maybe
Oh, Canberra Airport
Oh.
are going to sneak in there.
Red Pumps
Red
Red
Pumps will
just
get
got
it.
over Canberra Airport
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Then the Dominoes.
So young Marshall Day, good result. Very good to see him
A
in.
little bit of a gap back to 10th.
Which I think, is that going to be Eric's with the black Spinnaker by
I
memory?
think it might be, Jimmy. No, that's actually a boat who's a lap down.
Oh, lap behind, is
Yeah,
it?
so it looks like Contender. Sailcloth will be the next through. Harkin have already gone through first place in the 13s. Next through will be Buckingham Marine after that unfortunate capsize. But still, they'll bank a second. Great result for Ash and Theo. There's
So-
Contender.
Contender in 10th.
So Will Howard with Joel Castle and Rory Murtagh.
Bit of a battle here for third in the 13th between the Kitchen Maker and IME. So the Kitchen Maker's going to get that one.
Kitchen Maker will get that, yep. So Taylor Lees with Ollie Barrett.
It's another close finish just behind the start boat between the Coastal Advisory and Coates.
Coastal Advisory get it ahead of Coates, and then sheer seconds behind them is Swell Racing, Matt Meaney.
And we've got number 58 and 13, which is Red Pumps Manly.
Yep.
Gemma Hopkins with Harvey Windust.
The Bigfoot 39 will be next in for the 13s.
That's Byron Lowe with Lockie Favillaro. Geotechnical assessments in the 16 next through, just ahead of Tribeca. The fast finishing Typhoon. Through they go. And the Buck and Simple 13, Lockie Jansen. And the Sutek boys, Michael Kerner.
So we can take a little bit of a breath at the moment, bit of a gap now. Which will be the next 16 through. But
It's a good result for them.
yeah.
They good handicap boat, Jack. Being a handicap guy.
Look, I probably shouldn't comment on the handicaps, having been on the committee to set them.
So you got the inside running for us, Jack.
That's the only reason we got you on, mate.
That's right, yeah.
Get the inside mail. Thank you, Jack. Jack's just been madly writing down all the results so that we can bring them to your screens.
Only the top 10, unfortunately, guys. I don't have the laptop with me today.
So we're just off screen. TTR Civil have just gone through, and you're looking at Zyke, Rob Size from Middle Harbour. New boat, just finding their way. Probably, I don't think they've had too much little rig yet in that boat, so they're just finding their feet.
Got a few 13s about to come through. Imagine Signage will come in 8th.
So it's Bo Dransfield with Dave Tulk. Who's that they're just got through in front
That's
of?
Infinity Rigging next from St George.
St George,
nice
fantastic
work, yeah.
result.
And Botany Scaffold.
Access, that one.
That access.
Yeah. So Infinity Rigging, Tom Hughes with Noah Channel. Botany Scaff, Levi Windust with Cooper Lowe.
I think that was, that was access. Actually, that was...
Yeah. Justin Brownbill, another multi-sponsor with Botany Scaffold and Botany Access across the 13s and the 16s.
It's great to see Botany access there with Harrison Thomas and Ben Millam, a couple of surnames that would be familiar for a lot of the 16 fleet. Their fathers, long-time skiff sailors.
Dave O'Connor has just crossed in Fluid Building, 16.
And then Red Concrete.
Good. That's not a bad result for those guys.
No, I think they got new rigs in the boat, Jack, so I just don't know whether
Looks
just
like
that alone is...
I saw Trent Barnabas was offloading a bunch of IME gear, and that looks very much like an IME mainsail to me.
Yep, he's at Bartley Constructions. Not the result they would have wanted, but it's only race one. So stay with us. We've got another race coming up shortly.
As we said, tricky day, one mistake, very expensive.
The beauty of the two-race day is you get to have a second crack at it.
It looks to me, Bartley, that's a big rig, Jack, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So they might have found themselves in a little bit of strife early on, perhaps.
So next boat through, that's the Bella Group. That's just come through the line. Then we got Noakes and Shebang.
So that Shebang are coming through quick.
That club director, Ant King, on the helm.
It is, and I believe he's got, who's he got on today? I think he's got Alana Clancy in the bow and Paul McKenzie. Oh, good old sausage on the sheet.
Noakes, Kamikaze, Oaks have been sailing quite well down at St George. They had a good. They won the double the other week. Amy Mulkerns, Nee Lee.
Sister of Sarah.
Yep.
So
Altus 16.
that's the Red Pumps 13, crossing from, that's the one from Belmont, I believe.
Yep.
It
Jaden
is, yeah.
Morris.
And
With Phoebe Pilgrim. Modern Concept Constructions 13 down the leeward end.
It'd be interesting to see. They're just going through a shot a second ago was the fluid building guys. And Dave O'Connor, a really, really good sailor. Has had won nationals, won states in the 16s. Long time 18 sailor as well. Been out of it for a bit. Come back today and didn't have the best of races.
they went out last night to try and blow some rust out, and
A bonding session.
a bit of a bonding session. I can report though that Phil Harmer went and pretended to tune up 13-foot rigs rather than help unrig. So when Wendy's watching this back, he'll know what's going on.
Forgive me, Jimmy, when you said they went out last night, I thought you meant they went out on the drink.
No, they went out training, supposedly.
They were training. So the Buck and Simple has just gone through. Tommy Cameron, Tim Lees and Pete Jansen. And then
Was it-
Aristocrat, Daryl Millam. Who's with Daryl? Kobe Napa and Liam Karunaratne, two fine young fellas who've come through the juniors and are into the skiffs at Manly. Now we'll have Jess Rivers on Rivcon in the 16, just coming into shot now.
Yep. Behind in the black Spinnaker there, Tagara from St George, Tommy Clout. Once again, I think they'll be disappointed with that result.
Yeah, but would have expected a bit more of those boys today. They've been on the pace down at St George, I think, Jack.
They have, yeah.
You being our St George correspondent.
The spy from South.
Tom was led astray last night by somebody. I know that much.
I actually did see him heading towards the skiff club, and I know who might have been at the skiff club, Jimmy. Now,
And it wasn't me.
No, but I'm putting two and two together. So Tom's done quite a bit of sailing over the years with one David Witt.
I was going to say a bit of a scallywag, yeah.
Yeah. Here comes, is that Thompson's, is it, from Middle Harbour? Oh, Henderson's.
Henderson's. So that boat's a new sponsor, has come on board, formerly LaHaye's, now Henderson's. Boat looks really good too. I think it's had a new paint job and
Yep.
a bit of a birthday.
Does look good, doesn't it? That's
Yeah,
Great signage on the
it's good.
Spinnaker.
Good looking Spinnaker, yeah.
and 4X Gold with Neil Jones and Bigfoot Sailing,
Yeah, Bigfoot Sailing, yep.
the 13.
Bigfoot Sailing. Lily Klin and Joe Corbell.
So we've got a for these first boats that the Buckinghams and the Boscas and the Imagines and the Imies and those sort of guys, they've been finished now for probably 10 minutes already, 10-15 minutes already, and they've got another probably 20 unfortunately to wait with some of these back markers. What would they be doing now, Dole? Do you reckon they'd be trying to conserve energy? Would they be talking about where they went wrong?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, you get a bit of hydration into you. They might even have a bit of snacks, a few snacks on board for some energy. I think a couple of boats do have some on-water assistance out here with some ribs, and then once you've got that underway, you'd certainly be having a discussion about just assessing what went down in that last race, and you always want to think about the takeaways from it, the things you did well and the things you didn't do so well, so that you're not going to make those same mistakes again and then start having a look upwind. I mean, we're already seeing a couple of boats just a little bit further up course, so they'd just be having a look what the conditions are doing, because we have seen a change in conditions. It's certainly got a lot patchier than what we saw at the start of that first race. It's getting a bit later in the afternoon. I think you mentioned before, Jack, we're not really looking at a true nor'easter, are we? It's a bit more around in the left.
Yeah.
And traditionally, this end of the harbour and that sort of breeze, it gets quite shifty and patchy. So certainly want to be having a good look at the course and just thinking about where you're going to position yourself. You know, one of the big determining factors early on in this race is where you start on the line determines where you end up over in the Bombora side of the Sound. And that really showed in that first race off the start line over into there. It's really where the foundations were laid for setting yourself up for the race. And the people who did that well were the boats that got to the front of the fleet and remained there. We did see some moves around the leaderboard, especially with boats like Zoe in red pumps coming through from being a little bit behind, and then we saw changes in the order. But certainly that first 5-10 minutes of the race, that really lays the foundation for how your race is going to go long term.
Yeah, definitely. I think the first 10 boats out of the left were the first 10 boats in the finish.
That's right.
So, yeah, you got to really sort of plan ahead. Looking up the course now, if you're going to pick a rig, I'd be, it's big rig now. I think we may still see little rigs winning the race purely because of the calibre of the sailors in those boats. Right. But I think if they had their time and they could pick a rig right now, they'd probably be changing over.
Yeah, if you had your chance, but unfortunately they don't have that option.
No.
And so it's what you've got. And but as you said, Jack, some of the top crews that have got the little rig on, they're able to change gears, they're able to get the boat upwind in good shape, and then it's just a matter of the big rig. The advantage in the big rig predominantly will be downwind. So that extra sail area gives you more speed, more depth. You sail a shorter distance. So, but often you can get to the top mark in good shape and defend with the little rig, as long as it doesn't drop right out. The real deciding factor is when we get up into Manly Cove, where the top mark is, how patchy it actually is. So at the moment we're down in the Sound, we can't tell you what it's like up there, but if it's going to get patchy, that's where it's going to get patchy. And just while I was just waiting for that shot, you can see on screen there now that bank of cloud. So we've got a line of cloud coming through from the ocean, moving into the harbour. And to me, it not really the kind of cloud that lends itself to bringing breeze with it. It's low, it's wispy, it's not really a frontal sort of cloud that's going to bring us a lot of breeze. Could be wrong, but we'll have to wait and see.
This is one of those times where we hope we are.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think that, the cloud doesn't look great, but still going to be great racing all the same.
Nozomi there with the blue Spinnaker coming in. We've still got a couple of boats right up near Manly, so bear with us, folks. But yeah, for these guys who finished quite a while ago, it's a matter of just having a little bit of rest and then switching back on. Really critical. So
that's the thing. It can be quite easy to fall, get too relaxed, and you sit back and you sort of next thing you know, you're in sequence and you haven't done your normal preparation.
Yeah, doing your diligence.
The last few boats are starting to come down now, so hopefully we'll be, once they finish, we'll be underway pretty shortly. The breeze has stayed reasonably constant in direction.
Oh, good save from that 13. They were gone for all money there. That's takeoff, but unfortunately they are gone.
You just wanted to really get the commentator's curse down on them, didn't you, Dole?
Oh, that looked like they were going to do a great save there. They were in a whole lot of trouble. I think just the rudder, they got up on their ear, and if you don't have the 13 flat, it's very easy to cavitate the rudder. They don't have a very big rudder. So get ventilation or air around that rudder and you lose steerage and it's all over then.
just going back to what I was saying, I think the breeze has stayed reasonably consistent in angle. So I don't think the race committee will have to sort of rotate the course or move the start line at all. So hopefully that bodes well for getting us underway reasonably quickly after these last boats are finished.
Yeah, as you say, Jack, direction's good, but pressure is down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're getting towards 3 o'clock. It's not late in the afternoon, but this isn't a sea breeze. It's a system breeze. If it was a sea breeze, we'd be hoping that it was going to actually build a little, but being a system-driven breeze, that may not happen.
So the schedule is for one more race today. There's also a racing scheduled tomorrow with one long race. We won't be covering that because the Sale Media team will be further down the harbour. And then in 2 weeks' time, it's round 2 down at St George Sailing Club, which provides some interesting racing with in a nor'easter in front of the club. And hopefully there's a run-out tide and might sort out a few people. But likewise, it'll be the same sort of format in 2 weeks' time, where we'll have the live feed on the Saturday and hopefully 2 races on that day, and then the final race will be on the Sunday. So 6 heats in all is planned. If they get to those, I think if they get to the 5 races, they'll get a drop.
And a beautiful new club down there at St George, if you haven't been there before. The sailing's usually viewable from the club deck, where you can enjoy a beautiful meal and a few drinks. So if you're not watching us here with Sale Media and you're down that way, head down to the club and you'll be made more than welcome, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not many better places to watch sailing, especially in a nor'easter, than out on the deck there. So it's St George Sailing Club.
And in the bar there, you probably get commentary from a few club locals too, I'm guessing, Jack.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, there's a few guys in there who will tell you exactly where to sail.
What everyone's doing right and wrong.
Yep. Never missed a shift on the concrete yacht.
Just waiting on our last couple of skiffs to finish here. So I think that's Brian Hilton Toyota.
Yeah. Brian Hilton
on
Motors,
screen.
I think it is. Yeah.
They're our representative from Hornsby Ku-ring-gai. So
Yeah. Angus Stewart with Thomas Meacock and Cadell Stewart.
it's a really good effort for those guys to sail at Hornsby and you know, get the skiffs going there. Like a few years ago, they got the 13s going there. So we've seen for the last few years, usually at least 2 or 3 from Hornsby come and sail in the States, and now 16. So yeah, great effort.
And there's our last boat, MH44 there on screen, that we're just waiting on to come to the finish.
So that Spinnaker on Brian Hilton Motor Group at one point was on one of my boats, and it was handed down to me from Fluid Building. So that's got a bit of
age.
Bit of age on it.
Oh, let's say experience.
Old enough to vote now, Dol?
That blue and yellow kite. Yeah,
It's so experienced, it knows how to trim itself.
Didn't learn it from me, Jack. Not my
I
department.
don't remember you being in the bow, yeah.
MH44 coming in. Rowan Primrose, Simon Webb and Mike Franklin. Boat formerly owned by Trent Wildman, who put that boat together a number of years ago. G'day, Trent, if you're watching. And while we've got a bit of time, I'll mention that it's someone's birthday today, Jim Kerrison.
Oh, Caro.
So Kero hasn't been that well this week, so he wasn't sure if he was going to have good enough Wi-Fi at the hospital where he is right now. But Jimbo, Kero, wishing you a very happy birthday, mate, and hope to be seeing you back on deck and well soon, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, Caro. This would be one of the few times I would buy you a beer.
That's why you're offering now, isn't it?
I'm offering it now because I know he can't drink it.
Yeah.
I'll drink it for him.
Yep. So you follow all the results. There it is. You can just scan that QR code with your phone, and that'll take you to the results page on the 16ft Skiff website. The results should be uploaded, well, they'll be uploaded today, but I took the liberty of getting Jack on here, who normally does the results live, and they're posted pretty quickly after each race. So I apologies to the viewers that I reached out to Jack and snared him before he could lock himself in the other way. So, but
Copped a bit of backlash off the start boat just quietly too.
That's probably why Hugh hasn't rung me today. Normally he rings me 3 times a day.
Yeah, Tinny wasn't happy either.
Oh well.
So.
But yeah, you can scan the QR code or just type into your browser aussieskiffs.org results, and that'll take you to the results. Follow all the action. And tomorrow we won't be bringing you the live stream, so that'll be they'll keep that updated so you can keep abreast of what's going on.
Yeah, but the results will be up very shortly after racing today. And tomorrow, yep, once again, very shortly. So, yeah, if you can't get the live stream today, or you're already on it, of course, but if you can't stay with us, have a look at the results later, and the results tomorrow.
And, of course, you can check the overalls after the 2 heats, and then tomorrow after the 3 heats.
So looking at the top 10 today, just as someone who sort of knew what the handicaps were, they were published. I think
There's
Dominoes.
the top 10.
There's a top 10 in the 16s and the 13s across the line on the scratch. Out of that group, I reckon, yeah, Dominoes and Contender are 2 to look out for in the handicap results out of that top 10. Probably there might be a few boats further down the list that might jump up there as well, but yeah. That'd be my pick out of those 10.
So it looks like we're going for a 3-lapper again.
I'd expect to see the orange flag being displayed shortly on the start boat to signal they're on station.
So now that we don't have the course covered in boats, the breeze doesn't look too bad now. We are probably down around the 12 knot sort of range, but it looks fairly consistent right now. So
I'm just surprised at the lack of traffic on the harbour today, like yachting traffic. It's
very quiet, isn't it?
look very unusual for a Saturday on Sydney Harbour.
Look, potentially today the CYC were running the Bird Island race. Whether or not some of the other clubs decided not to race because of that and the combination of the 16s being on the harbour might have something to do with it.
Very kind of them.
Yeah. Very sensible too. Bit of a shout out to a couple of people watching. Marinda Village Hotel, just north of Bowen, just inland from Bowen. James Turner Jr. He's got the live feed on the big screen there for all the sailing fans of North Queensland.
Junior's probably got us turned off and he's giving commentary, I reckon.
I reckon he's standing in front of the screen going, okay, this is what I'd do. So we've also got a few of our regular visitors, regular viewers who tune into Sail Media for the 18s coverage. They're online with us as well from here, there and everywhere, including Milwaukee, Wisconsin, from Quebec, from everywhere around the world. So g'day guys, glad to have you with us.
And there's our sponsor for the event, Red Pumps.
Very generous Greg Windust on the sheet there in the middle with Tyler Dransfield and Jay Harris. So Red Pump sponsoring the event, and I think Greg's got a total of 5 or 6 sponsored boats out on the course. So he's got 4 16s and at least 2 13s. So
is he in the market to sponsor a camera cat doll?
You might have to paint it red, Jimmy.
That's fine.
A red wrap.
Can be done pretty quickly by Scotty, I'd imagine, signage.
I think he's got enough boats, Greg.
Well, what's one more then?
Yeah, I guess. He likes catamarans too. But yeah, pretty solid first race for those guys. They hung in there nicely. They had a few losses, they had a few gains, but when it counted, they were fourth, I think, were they, Jack?
I
Across
believe
the
so.
line? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty good result. It's a keeper. It's a long way to go in this regatta yet. So start boat is on station. Orange flag is flying at either end of the line. So we'll be about 4.5 minutes now to a warning signal. Just trying to see where the pin end is right now.
It's normally a rubber duck, isn't it?
Yeah, rubber duck with the flag. It's just my
Oh,
eye.
yeah.
You can see it with your eyes?
Yeah, I can see it perfectly fine, Dole. I don't know what you're talking about. Just
Oh, there it is. It was behind a boat. Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like a fairly even line. Long line, but the lie of it looks fairly even. I'd like to think that maybe middle to boat is probably the place to be, so that when you come into all that traffic at the Bombora, you've got a good lane to get out of there. Right now, Zoe Dransfield and Daniel Turner having a look at the boat and just seeing how their height shapes up, just assessing that start line. And now Sarah Lee and Tyler Dransfield are both, they're about to come into screen now. They're having a look at exactly the same thing. So just assessing the line, seeing what the pressure's like at this end of the line. You might be able to see the Red Pumps has a slightly bigger, slightly taller big rig than the little rig than the Bosca. So in this sort of marginal condition, that could come into play.
just reading on the back of the start boat there, 16-foot skiff, race 1, UFD, swell.
Swell racing.
They were advanced. So, and I did say they didn't put a flag up, but under a U flag, they don't have to.
No individual recalls.
That's right. Yeah. So Matt Meany will be a bit disappointed with that. A bit of friendly banter there between the Sutek and the Red Pumps. Cheeky Josh Ponton just giving them a bit of a hurry up.
Yeah, I think the boys on the Sutek will be hoping for a bit better second race. They sort of revel in this sort of conditions. So.
They didn't have much chance. Like I said before the first race that they were due for a good result. So
Put the curse on them, mate.
Put the curse down.
They've got big shoulders, but not that big.
They normally do really, really well after they go away and go to the V8 supercars
Just
somewhere,
after-
and then they
after
come back
Bathurst.
from that and they're perfect.
Yeah.
So they've just got to tee up with V8 supercars to have that on a Friday night, and then Saturday sailing, and that's them. They'll win everything then.
I'm sure they'll change their schedule for the
For them,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only a phone call.
Maybe the people at Coates who are a big V8 supercar supporter can line them up some free tickets. A couple of pit passes. So probably starting to get closer to a warning signal.
Yeah, within 1 minute to a warning.
Just getting some information through that Zoe broke her Cunningham on the second work, so it's probably
Makes sense.
That's
probably
where
explains a few things.
things went a little bit south for them, about halfway through, but they came back nicely.
Yeah, hopefully they've got that repaired for this race.
Yeah, I'm sure Hugh will get that sorted out. I did see they had some supporters on the water too, so good chance they might have grabbed a few bibs and bobs to get that sorted out. Maybe some tools if they needed them.
So I think we've got about 5 seconds to a warning here. Should be going up any second now if they're on time. There we go. So once again, I think we'll be looking out for that U flag to come into effect.
Yeah, definitely. If we had it the first time, we'll be having that again.
I think it worked well.
Yeah, it did, but you know what I tend to see, Jack, is so first race of the championship, everyone is a little bit more conservative.
Correct.
Get one race under their belt, and the second one they come out with all guns blazing, especially those who may not have had such a good first race.
Yeah, that's right. And they'll tend to drag everyone else up with them.
Yeah.
Off screen, the IME Barnabas building, just they were a bit warm. They went for a quick dip, just to cool down, get the muscles in the right temperature range for the race ahead. They leave no stone unturned, those guys. So 4 minutes.
And as we suspected, the U flag goes up.
Beautiful unoccupied harbour up the course.
How good's that? Clear runway.
Unheard of on a Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely.
Got to say, those Barnabas building boys look resplendent in their bright blue Vycobi life jackets. They look like they've just come out of the bag.
brand new design, Dole. From
Yes,
Vycobi,
that
so
might be the V2 or something, I think it's called, the new life jacket. I've been using one, Jimmy, and it's got the hydration pack in it, which is, for me, has been a real game changer. Hydration's a bit of an issue for me, so on the water it's great to have the convenience of the drink bottle built into the life jacket.
Yeah, no, you can only imagine. Well, you windsurf, Dole, so that's particularly where you
really
need
saps
it.
it. Really saps it out of you. That's right.
Speaking of, our illustrious skipper's just called for a bit of hydration.
Bit of hydration.
Bit of water.
Into the Skiff.
Yeah, the water, not the other one.
It's for later.
Yeah, it's a bit hard on the windsurfer to strap a water bottle.
It is.
Somewhere.
Yeah, so to have it built into the life jacket's been a real game changer for me.
It's even harder to hold it.
Yeah. VXS, PFD is the new one. I knew it was a V something. The VXS. So, if you're after a really good fitting life jacket that has the ability to have the hydration pack in it, head to Vycobi. I think they might still be having their Black Friday sale up until Sunday night. So do yourself a favour. Get online and grab yourself some Vycobi gear.
What colours do they come in, mate? Is it just the blue and the...
No, there's the blue, the pink, the beige and the puce.
The puce.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. There is a hot pink, which would look good on you, Jack. But back to the action. We're down to 1 minute 20. Lining up, Avelinia are probably the most advanced boat at the moment. They're going to lead everybody in. Just trying to see where the main players are shaping up at the moment.
Inside 1 minute.
Yeah, Shade to Water sort of looking at midline. Contender a bit further down.
And right up this end, Dole, at the boat at the moment, you've got red pumps red and red pumps up here, so I'm guessing it's a pretty well set line.
Yeah, they're looking for the boat, as is Canberra Airport.
Buckingham's
Tugara.
midline.
Yeah, Daniel Turner, but yeah, just down a little from the boat. He's in the front line, which is where you want to be. We're coming down to 20 seconds now. They've still got a bit of room. They've got some runway to get going.
The one who is buried at this stage is Bosca in the midline, and imagine midline and second row.
Yeah. Gee, who's that front row there?
Coastal Advisory.
Coastal Advisory.
Benny
They're gonna
Brunnages.
He's okay. He's not going to
3,
be over.
2, 1.
I'm going to call that a clear start from our angle.
Yeah, I think so. The only boat that was close would have been Bartley Construction, but they look good to me. We were just not quite lined up with the two orange flags, but it looked fairly clean. The boat end, Alex Hart in Typhoon, along with Daryl Millam in Aristocrat, having to tack out early. Zoe Dransfield again in Red Pumps Red, didn't get the best of starts and had to tack out early as well, so they're on port tack, getting out of there. But looking down the line there now, you can see Canberra Airport trying to hold a lane above Red Pumps and Tugara. So they're the windward boats. Down the leeward, stepped out Imey Barnabas Building. So they're down there, shade to water. Tom Burton a bit further up the line, looking in good shape. Shade to water with the big rig in. So I'm kind of we want to see how they come out of the Bombora, but we'll see if that big rig comes into play for them. But after a not such a great start, Bosca and Imagine have both managed to find themselves a clear lane.
Yeah,
so
they must have pulled the trigger at exactly the right time at that start and got through the fleet.
Yeah, once again, Daniel Turner in Buckingham in a good position. But as Jack and I were discussing, the big play, the big game changer is when we tack over here in the Bombora coming out of the Sound. It's really critical the time that you pick to get tack and get yourself out of here. That's Imey Barnabas Building, bottom of screen there now. They won't be far off attack. It starts to get pretty patchy. There they go now.
This is where it's going to be interesting. Will they cross?
They won't. They won't cross TTR or Shade to Water. Shade to Water dumps one on them. They won't like that.
And actually, top of screen there, Bosca build looking pretty reasonable as well.
That's a cross. Yeah, Nathan Wilmot, Imagine just tacking now. They've pushed it fairly close in.
Coats have capsized.
Just off screen at the moment. Coats, unfortunately, have had a little swim.
Tight cross on the Imagine and the Imey.
And Bosca's managed to cross both Red Pumps and Canberra Airport, who started up further up towards the boat. Going to be tight between Imagine and Red Pumps. Imagine's had to go behind. So right now it looks like Bosca is probably close to leading, but we'll have to see when this right-hand fleet comes back.
Domino's the other one that's up there, sort of in the middle of the course.
Yeah,
well, they haven't had the greatest tack.
Yeah, not a great tack. They dropped the main sheet, and they've tacked just to leeward of Red Pumps Red, who have made a bit of a gain, but not enough right now. But I can expect to see them march through, make some gains. So, yeah, at the moment, Bosca, Imagine, and Barnabas Building, probably our top three, but it's all very close, folks. You know, it's early days here. Nice breeze coming out of Manly right now, isn't there, Jimmy?
It has increased where we are at the moment. I've just had a diver's stick come up over here, so I'm just trying to sneak through as quietly as we can.
Just an orange stick, not a diver's flag.
Yeah, it's like an emergency.
Yeah, probably
thing.
not the place to be right now.
No, not with 60 centreboards and rudders coming over the top of your head.
At about 15 knots of boat speed, that's right.
Okay, so Bosca did cross all the boats from the
Coming
right-hand
in
side.
From the right, yep.
Also out here we got Red Pumps crossing the Shade to Water. The other one's up there, which after a bad first race was Tagara. They're just having to dip shade to water off screen.
Red Pumps and Canberra Airport getting back across. Tagara on screen there now, Tom Clout. Getting a much better start to this one than he did in the last race. Oh, and I'm just looking back at that diver's stick, Jimmy. I fear for that guy's safety.
I hope he's got a bit of air left.
Absolutely surrounded by skiffs it is. Anyway.
Might take up skydiving after this instead of diving underwater.
There's Nathan Wilmot, Ricky Bridge and Mal Page in the Imagine.
Red Pumps crossing.
Yep.
It's tight racing here, isn't there?
So good game there from Tyler Dransfield. Because Imagine did just dip them back a couple of minutes ago. They had to bear away and dip them, and Tyler's managed to put a good gain a few seconds on them there. There's Bosca crossing Red Pumps.
It's tighter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And out here to the left, you saw just a second ago, Imagine and Buckingham. Sorry, Imey and Buckingham. They're just crossing Imagine now. So we're going to have probably 5 or 6 boats all in the space of 20, 30 seconds. So
this is really going on those last crosses we've just seen. This is going to be super close shortly. And here comes Bosca coming back with the starboard advantage, so they'll cross and be ahead anyway. Barnabas Building just a little behind, so super tight here.
It looks
really
also
tight.
Potentially they've shortened up the top mark a little bit. Just doesn't seem to be as far up into Manly Cove.
Yes, and the mark boat is there, so the mark boat's standing by the mark, having a look. Looks like Jason Waterhouse on one of the ribs out here having a look, our flight controller from the Aussie Sail GP team.
Couldn't get a ride today.
On board with Robert Atkins, so I'm sure he's being told how it's done.
Okay, so we're going to have a cross coming up shortly between Red Pumps and Bosca, which
Red Pumps chose to tack.
They've
Bailed
tacked.
out on you.
Looks like once again Buckingham's off camera, but
Yeah, they've come back well, and they've done the same, Jack. They've hit over a bit further to the right, over towards what we like to call Ed Head.
Ed Head.
Well, it's good to see that the Typhoon still goes there without Ed on
Even
board.
without Craig on board, that's right.
Shout out to Craig Nichols. We're actually going to cross to him back in the club. Unfortunately, he's just gone to the bar to get a round of drinks, so just goes to show that there's always a first for everything. We'll catch up with him later.
So very tight now between Red Pumps, Bosca, Buckingham and Shade to Water, along with Domino's. Domino's right in the equation, and Imey Barnabas Building. So most of those boats have tacked back onto starboard, and it's going to be a pretty tight ley line for a couple of them.
Yeah, tight lay for Buckingham's.
Yeah, if he gets one bad shift here, he might be in trouble because he'll be... Oh, and there it is. I spoke too soon. Because he's going to have to tack back at Red Pumps. He could easily get shut out here. Red Pumps for now are probably just laying that mark. Here goes Daniel Turner's shaping up for attack now. This is going to be super tight. Advantage to Sarah Lee here. She's coming in on a very loose lay with speed, and she'll roll over the top of Red Pumps. So we'll have Bosca leading.
So Sarah and Keegan York and Kurt Warner.
Tyler Dransfield having to really squeeze to make this mark. Jay Harris just standing up, and there they're going to lay it though. They'll be fine. They'll get around. Daniel Turner in Buckingham, third place. Joel Beechel in Imey Barnabas Building, and then Nathan Wilmot in Imagine.
Marshall Day in Domino's. was a flurry of activity at that set.
Bit on here. Super tight. Super tight. Tom Cloud in Tagara next round ahead of Shade to Water.
Coastal Advisory, Benny Brunnages. Geochemical Assessments, Nathan McNamara.
Yep.
Phil Bauer in the TTR Civil. Shade to Water having some issues again with that spin. There we go.
MTM signage. And then Fluid.
Bit better race for the Fluid so far.
Looks like Fluid might have lost a bit of signage in their last capsize. They had more signage than that before, didn't they?
Just a little bit more, Dol.
Yeah. Canberra Airport, Wishart Pacific, good rounding for them.
And then here's Zoe in the Red Pumps Red. Let's see how she comes back through the fleet now. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, she's a lot further behind and in a pack in a lot of boats. Oh, and in a bit of trouble here too. They managed to settle it down. Rob Size in Zyke, next round after Contender. Anthony King.
I think that's
Oh, it's
Jessica
not.
Riles
Is it?
on Shebang.
Tribeca followed by Sutek. Noakes be the next one in, Amy Mulkerns, with James Slee and Joss Dalvera.
I'll tell you if that's not Jess on Shebang, it could be Georgia Clancy. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it's not Anthony King.
definitely not. Way too good looking.
All right, let's try and pick our way down.
Make our way down the course. Hear the roar of our engines. Try and speak up a bit so you can hear us. Looks like we've seen a little bit of a breakaway at the front of the fleet. To me, it looks like Bosca's gained quite a bit of a jump, so that we saw second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth all very tight, giving each other a bit of grief. And it looks to me like that's allowed Bosca to just step away a little, clear air and just get a bit of a jump. There you can see Buckingham, Imagine,
Red Pumps Red and Imey still look to be second and third. Buckingham looks like they maybe dropped back a little bit.
Yeah, Sarah's got a bit of a long jibe to come back to them now. So it'll just depend on which side of the course has got the most pressure, I think. At the moment, Imey, Barnabas Building look like they're in good pressure, but looks like Sarah's got a bit of a jump on them still in Bosca. But Joel Beashel with Trenton Rob have done a great job here on this run.
Yeah, nice run by the Imey.
Very good. And they're now on a boomer. They're on great pressure. Comes the drop. Drop from Bosca. They'll take the right-hand turn. I'd imagine Imey will probably jibe drop here.
They'll be right on Bosca's hammer.
No, they're not going to jibe drop. They're just going to drop.
Okay.
Too tight a lay. Which will give a little bit of advantage to Red Pumps because they'll come in. They've got a Spinnaker chute. Greg Windust will just reef. Oh, actually, Jay's doing it. Just reef that Spinnaker away down the chute. Away they go.
Bosca, Imey, Red Pumps, Shade to Water in fourth.
Yep.
And looking like on the
Tom
inside there.
Tom Burton with some trouble with his tiller there for just a second.
Coastal Advisory in fifth and Buckingham's down to sixth after being third at the top mark.
Oh, and a dodgy
Very
drive.
dangerous jibe on the Imagine
from Imagine
signage.
signage sure was. Low speed and boom in the water.
Dominoes and Tagara are choosing to take the left-hand turn at the gate.
And MTM signage, good first lap from those guys.
Yeah, Tommy Dawson, Bryce Edwards, and Rory. Sorry, who's in the bow? I've forgotten. I should know. It's from my club. Jerome Watts.
That's
Apologies.
right. Yep. And Phil Bauer in TTR Civil doing a great job again. So just around Canberra Airport, just managed to sneak around them. Over on the left turn, we've had Dominoes, Tagara, Contender, Sailcloth, and Red Pumps Red taking that turn, and a much better first lap from the Zyke Rob Size this time. Alex Hart with the big rig in a bit of trouble, rounding up at the right-hand turn. There they are. They managed to make it. Oh, man overboard.
Impromptu water skiing. Barefoot.
There's the coats. They've just dropped back after that capsize they had on the first work. Really hurt them.
Rivcon be coming in. Jess Rivers. Must have been, quite overlaid and dropped the kite early.
Quite off early.
There's quite a few of them, like this blue Spinnaker that's on shot there just to the left of screen. They are well low. This is the Altus. Have to be the Altus. It's got Phil Cook written all over it. There you go.
Master of an underlay. Underlay. We've got a few boats in the tide up in the Bombora too, I might add.
Phil's been around for a long time, and as has his sheet hand, Kenny Walk. So
I think he's got Dave Gruder or Rob Gruder on today, I think.
not Kenny. Okay. Oh yeah, Rob Gruder in the bow.
So back to the upwind action. As Contender, Will Howard. He's just to windward of Rob Size in Zyke. Contender from Belmont, as I mentioned, Will Howard steering with Joel Castle and Rory Murtagh.
There's 3 16s capsized just here. I don't know whether that are coming together or what the story is, but very unusual that they're all in exactly the one spot.
They're just cooling off.
Is that where you call off right there, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Not far from your mate, the diver, I might
I was about to say, has anyone seen the diver's stick?
Maybe they've got a diver on their
The stupid
centreboard.
part is, though, like, you can see where the dive boat is. It's to the left of screen on that shot there now.
They're a long way. He was a long way from
long way away from
the
where
boat.
that was. So maybe that's why he fired off his emergency.
Potentially.
Simey Barnabas building.
So they look like they jumped a little. They've jumped a little bit from red pumps, but Bosca has sort of extended a fraction as well.
Yeah, Bosca's now attacked and coming back. I think it's going to be pretty close, Jack. Not a whole lot in it.
Not a whole lot, but
There, Jimmy, your little emergency stick's still there, mate. So the guy hasn't gone far.
He's probably sitting on the bottom,
Oh,
praying.
terrified.
Happy to talk to sharks and come up.
So Bosca choosing to come back to this left-hand side into the rocks. It pays pretty much every time. So Barnabas building choosing to still head over towards Flagstaff, which is where we've seen Daniel Turner benefit a couple of times earlier on. But generally this left-hand side tends to pay. They're getting you right in and close here because they're about to come on board the camera cat. They're pretty close to us. There you go.
If only we had a microphone on the drone.
So Sarah Lee, most of you who follow the 16-footers will be aware that Sarah Lee, our first female national champion season before last.
With that crew.
Yeah,
That's
with
right,
her championship-winning crew back on board with Keegan and Kurt. And today, in this second race, they're certainly starting to show a bit of that form again. Boat looking very nice, but boys very comfortable there. They're swinging a bit of weight on that boat too, aren't they, Jack, on the wire?
A fair bit of weight, but also a fair bit of leverage in height.
Yes.
You know, both Keegan and Kurt over 6 foot. You know, both
So-
be at their peak fitness. They'd be in the low 90s.
Yeah, so two big guys who are also tall and a very, very small light helmsman. So perfect combination.
I might have been a little bit generous to Keegs there.
90.
Well, I'll say on the boat was 6 foot. Let's call him 5'11".
Yeah.
We're just trying to pick up the leaders here in the 13s.
So can you pick up that sail number? It's an
Buckingham
it's-
Marine.
No, it's the
and
IME,
30
mate.
And the IME.
IME leading.
With Buckingham Marine second. Followed by Kitchen Maker and Harkin.
Yeah, so Ollie Ross with Charlie Snell. First to the top mark in race 2. Well done, fellas. They were up there or abouts in the race 1. They've certainly put together a great first beat. Ash Napper and Theo in second, and they've given themselves a pretty skinny ley line to make this top mark. And,
Imey,
No.
unfortunately, they've in the kite hoist, they've put it in the tide. Ash Napper just scraping around that top mark. They're going to jibe set. Next in, we'll have Taylor Lees in the Kitchen Maker with Ollie Barrett. Oh, and they're not a great bear away either. Get the boat down flat, guys. That's the way. Into the hoist.
Like to see him try and get some vag off for the bear
As
away,
well,
particularly.
So Harkin next around, followed by Infinity Rigging from St George.
Great job from
Yeah.
the Infinity Rigging.
We don't have exactly a big fleet down at St George, so a lot of the time these guys are sailing around by themselves, so it's great for them to have a good result in a big fleet.
Sure is. They're doing exceptionally well, Jack. That's a new boat too, isn't it, I
It's a
believe?
new boat this year, yep.
Yep. Next in is the Bigfoot.
Imagine signage.
Bo Dransfield with David Tulk.
Botany Access, followed by the Buck and Simple. Now, the first 16 is around in Bosca build. Closely followed by IME. So, yeah, it is.
Only a couple of seconds in it. Great sailing from young Joel there to stay in touch. They had a little bit of ground to make up, and they've done that. Good third place rounding here from Tyler Dransfield in red pumps, with Tom Burton in shade to water very close behind. So
Just looking behind us, though, it's getting really, really patchy and a lot more light than heavy winds. So this
Yeah, and I was
could play into
the big rig.
the big rig
Yeah.
on the shade to water.
You beat me to it, Jimmy. I was just about to say that as they came round. I went, big rig. If they're going to make a gain, it'll be on this downwind. So
Buckingham's next around, followed by Dominoes and Tagara.
much better race from Tom Plout this time on Tagara. Be happy to be up the pointy
Well,
end.
he gave himself plenty of runway to make it better than the last one.
Yes, yeah. And then Nathan Wilmot in Imagine signage, just a little bit further back this time. They won't be happy there. Good kite set though from Malcolm Page, I've got to say. Coastal Advisory just ahead of Geochemical Assessments. They're two tongue twisters, Jack.
What happened to the good old-fashioned names like Bob and...
MTM signage, and then Zoe Dransfield in Red Pumps Red. So not the gain that we'd expected to see from them on that second beat.
A few speed humps in the way with boats capsized on that ley line when they come around the top mark.
The Diveco 13 got
Gas.
116 ran over it, and they got loaded up and capsized, and Coastal Advisory had to go below them, and MTM had to go above them, so there's a bit going on there for them.
Does add another level of complexity with effectively mixed fleet racing with the 13s and the 16s.
But it's good to see how they coexist. You know, it is quite a challenging thing for them to do, but it's I know there was a little bit of angst in the beginning with it all, but I think it's all playing out very well with the 16s and the 13-foot skiffs all playing nicely together.
I think a bit more respect is being shown, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, look, it's pretty obvious that the sailors and the 13s are the future of the 16 class, and best way to stop that is to don't show them any respect. So
Yeah. Because in a few years' time, they might be kicking your butt in a 16. You want to be their friend.
more than likely.
They might be the ones sitting on the tiller barking orders at you.
Yes, indeed. So lovely shot there, just looking down at our leaders approaching the Bombora. Looks like Red Pumps Red in front of MTM signage.
I think there's been a
with
lead change potentially.
Assessments.
See in the distance there, you can see Bosca and Imey, Barnabas building. What do you reckon there, Barnabas building? Imey's in front?
No, I think Bosca still might. Oh, it's hard to tell from here, isn't it, Jack? Easier to tell from the pictures, possibly. Looks like Barnabas building might have punched through. They were very close at the top mark.
Yep. We'll give that run to Imey, I believe.
Yeah, so Imey, Barnabas building. Great work there. Joel Beashel and the team.
So Imey leads from Bosca.
And as Jimmy sort of predicted, shade to order with the big rig on that downwind. They've made quite a substantial gain. They'll move up into third place if they can sneak around in front of Red Pumps here.
In the 13s, you'll notice Bucky and Marine and Harkin very close for the lead.
And Imey back in there, considering they had that swim at the top.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really good to see.
Great job. So Shade to Order managed to sneak around in front of Red Pumps. So Shade to Order in third, Red Pumps in fourth. Daniel Turner, a good gain made in Buckingham. And an excellent sailing from Tommy Clout and the team on Tagara.
Sammy Monkhouse and Sammy Worrell.
That puts them in, I think, sixth place. Imagine signage with the drop. No room for Dominoes to go inside there.
Halfway down that run, Domino's had a little bit of an oh boy moment with one of the back markers.
Right.
They managed to save it.
Then geochemical assessments, and we have seen a bit of a gain there from Red Pumps Red, which is good to see. Bit of a late drop, putting young Jamie under pressure. MTN signage around, and then you're looking on screen there now at Canberra Airport and Contender Sailcloth. The yellow Spinnaker you can see is Zyke, and then the orange is Coates, and the
Fluid.
blue is Fluid Building.
A few about boats being caught out, you know, it's coming into this mark way too hot. Just wondering, is that in the distance? It looks like a little bit of a storm. Are we seeing a little bit of a shift in the breeze?
It has perhaps gone around to the left a little, looking at it, this windward tacking angle, Jack.
Yeah.
So breeze has gone around a touch more to the north. There was a possibility of a storm forecast this afternoon, but this is coming out of the north, not really out of the west, as you'd expect.
There's the radar on screen. The magic continues. So, yeah, rather large storm coming. We're getting some comms. We're just waiting on confirmation on what's going on, but we'll keep it with all the action.
Breeze increase maybe just a couple of knots. But as this storm approaches, we could get a bit wild and woolly perhaps. Probably not what Tom Burton on Shade to Water wanted to see. They probably wanted to see the breeze drop a little.
Yeah, so we have had reports of the course potentially being shortened at the top, but our start boat's still on station at the bottom, so just waiting for confirmation, but
That could maybe happen on the next lap, Jack.
This is the last lap.
Oh, this is the last upwind?
Three-lapper. Yep.
Okay. It's a bit of a split for where the boats have got to go, so about half the fleet rigging at Manly and half at Middle Harbour, so there isn't a huge advantage to shorten as far as getting the boats on shore earlier. It's the Harkin 13 who look to be in second place at the moment, probably just behind Buckingham. For the 13 fans out there. There they are. And about to come into shot soon maybe will be the kitchen maker Taylor Lees.
and Imey there as well. So close racing in the 13s.
Certainly is. It's heating up.
As it is in the 16s.
Yeah, Barnabas Building looked to have extended a little on Bosca. They were almost nose to tail at the gate, and it looks like Imey Barnabas Building has probably put 50 to 75 metres on Bosca. And Shade to Order also on a bit of a march with the big rig at the moment. And who's that we've got over on the far right there, Jack? Are
On
they
the
on
far right, is that Imagine?
It is too. Imagine
Imagine
signage
signage.
coming in from that side.
No, that's Brian Hilton.
Oh, sorry, there's
so they're a lap down.
Yep. Same with
Target Wellman.
Wellman.
Shout out to Matty Chalmers, back in the fleet this year on the Target Wellman, off camera.
Got him inspired last year when we got him on for the live stream, was it? Is that how we dragged him back?
Making a comeback.
The class is a better place with Matty Chalmers in it, that's for sure.
Certainly is. We need characters like him. It's not too regularly.
He's a character. So looking at Bosca now, Barnabas Building has tacked off the rocks. Bosca coming back towards them. Both boats getting through the water really quickly at the moment. So little up in the breeze here at the moment.
just behind them, Shade to Water sort of got caught up with a couple of lap boats. Slowed them down for a little bit, but they're clear of them now.
So just looking in from the back of Imey there, you can see the boys really sailing the boat beautifully there, pretty flat, just trimming the gear. And then same as we get a nice shot in from behind of Bosca. You'll see Keegan and Kurt there swinging really low and hard. Kurt just having a look, getting ready to tack. About to run out of water in there, so there they go. Nice tack from the team. So you can see the two boys there really concentrating their weight together. Also keeps your bodies together, a bit less windage as the breeze flows over your body shape. So they're just trying to get minimum drag that they can. We're just coming up. We're about to intersect with some of the back markers. A lot of them have had a bit of a swim at the top here. Come around the top mark and got themselves into a bit of strife.
So it doesn't appear that they're short, and it looks like it'll be a full course down to the finish down at the bottom. Can't see any flags or any signals
Official
on the
boats.
Official boats.
There is a boat there, Jack. Are they
There is a
flying
boat.
flag?
There is flying the flag up now, yeah.
They are flying a flag. So the Manly Mark boat, along with what was the pin boat,
There we go.
they're flying a short course flag. So we are going to finish here. There's the boat in the background you can see.
Imey take the win.
Do they realise? Yes, they have realised. So Imey first. Bosca will be second. Sarah will be happy with that result. Good bounce back. See Kurt and Keegan pretty happy with that, giving us a bit of a thumbs up as they came through the finish.
Probably happy to be able to get back to Middle Harbour before the storm gets here.
Yeah, I would think so. And Tom Burton, Shade to Water, good result. Good bounce back. So I know Scotty Beebe has put in a lot of effort into this campaign. They really haven't left too many stones unturned.
And there's the radar was just back on screen there with that storm closing in. So I think probably the right decision has been made.
Yeah, get them off the water. Last thing you want if we get a bit of electrical or carbon mass up in the air.
Carbon loves lightning, doesn't it, Dol?
Yeah, not. And it's going to be very tight here for fourth spot.
I'd hate to be doing the finishing on the rescue boat.
Well, you're taking the
Brian
numbers.
Hilton's getting lapped.
Yeah,
so
and getting in the way.
Imagine signage and dominoes.
So we'll give that to
Imagine.
And we'll have dominoes, red pumps.
Coastal Advisory, and then Tagara, and Buckingham's.
So that's a 9th for Daniel Turner on the Buckinghams.
And then geochemical assessments with MTM signage. And in the 13-foot skiffs, we've got Buckingham Marine just finishing. Well done.
Just ahead of, so that's Ash Napa with Theo Franklin narrowly ahead of Heidi Bates and Orlando Sadlick. In Harkin, next in the 16s, Canberra Airport, ahead of Red Pumps Red, Zoe Dransfield.
And Imey in the 13s.
Yep,
If only they didn't have that swim.
Ollie and Charlie, yeah, they're sailing well. Those guys have been training really hard, so good to see them get some results. Contender Sailcloth next in the 16s.
Followed by Coates.
Will Howard and then Darby Jones in the Coates. Next in the 13s, Taylor Lees, the kitchen maker. And a good result to Rob Size and his crew on the Zyke. Early hit out for those guys, not too much time in the boat, so that's a great result.
And well done to the guys on Infinity Rigging in the 13-foot skiff that just crossed the... What would you have them down as fifth or something?
Fifth, and yeah.
That's awesome. That is an awesome effort by those
That's got to
guys.
be a handicap win, Jack.
Oh, look at, yeah.
You can't say, I know.
Being from St George, I tend to be a bit harsher on those guys than other boats. You know, don't want to be seen to be biased in any way, shape or form. So
Dan Bromelo next through on the Bartley, ahead of David O'Connor, Fluid, and then Mikey Kerner in Sutek. Tribeca will be the next to finish from St George.
followed by TTR from St George. And then Noakes from St George.
I think the level of the sailing at St George has improved remarkably, especially that mid-pack from last year. And, you know, we've seen two really good results from the St George guys today. So, you know, well done to all in sundry down there for pushing that along and making it all happen.
One, they're doing a great job, but two, they're chasing Sarah Lee around the track every week.
That's certainly, certainly drags them along, pushes them to achieve better results. But there's actually quite a good camaraderie down there as well. Like, everyone does get on, everyone helping each other out. So
working together.
Yeah, whether that lasts when the fleet builds even to even bigger in years to come, it remains to be seen. But no, it's a great atmosphere down there at the moment.
They went from 6 to 16 boats down there this year.
Yeah, fantastic.
We had it was 11, 12 last year to 16 this year.
Yeah,
but that makes a big difference, especially like you said, that mid pack makes a huge difference.
But the old saying, Jack, to be the best, you've got to beat the best.
Correct.
So if you're racing against quality sailors and former champions each week, it certainly drags you forward.
So swell racing, not the greatest of days.
Yeah, they've come through just behind Typhoon. Then
After their U flag in race one.
And Daryl Millam in the Aristocrat. Pretty good race from those guys. With Tim Lees and Pete Jansen. Bigfoot 13, next across. Ahead of Jess Rivers in the Rivcon.
That's not a bad result for Jess, I think.
Yeah.
There's a little tip for potential handicap together with the Aristocrat.
Yep. Yes. Yep. Two boats probably sailed better than their handicap. Jess sailing with her brother Will and Jacob. The Bella group just behind them. And here's the shebang. We might get eyes on who is actually on that helm. Because it certainly isn't Ant King. I think it's Georgia.
I think it's Georgia as well, yeah.
So Georgia Clancy with Alana in the bow and Big Paulie.
So for the viewers at home, don't forget to scan the QR code if you want to follow the results. That's where you'll find the link to the results, and Jack will have the results up very quickly tomorrow after tomorrow's race. We won't be here, unfortunately. We've got other commitments, but that's how you'll be able to follow the racing. If not, come down, go up to Dobroyd or Tanya Park there and look down right over the racecourse. Probably one of the best amphitheatres in Sydney to watch sailing. But yeah, it's we'll probably try and wrap things up here now, so before the storm gets to us as well. But so thanks very much, Dolly, and a huge thank you to Jack. I'm glad that we could persuade you to come on board here rather than the start boat.
It's always a bit of fun.
Yep. So yeah, as I said, don't forget to check the results, and we'll be back to cover the state titles on the 29th of November at St George Sailing Club, with the live action kicking off from 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. And yeah, thanks to the team behind us, and this has been a Sail Media production for the New South Wales 16-foot Skiff Association.